From time to time, Greg Gonsalves, our general manager at Roundhill, will be putting out podcasts to provide information to the membership. So let's begin our first one. Welcome, Greg. Thank you very much for taking the time in your day. I'd like to address a couple of topics with you today. In the recent past, we've had vandalism episodes on the golf course and illegal play and unauthorized people that have been on the course. As a result, the club, I guess, is introducing a Marshal team to help police the facility in an effort to kind of reduce these activities. Can you give me more detail on that program?
Yeah, so actually the club's done a number of things over the last few months. In addition to retaining, I think we've got 6 marshals now, all employed, but we've also posted no trespassing signs at all the entrances to the club.
Okay.
Made sure that the markings on the cart paths are painted that say golfers only. And really just have communicated both with the membership and the homeowners association through their newsletter that the golf course is meant for golf and not for anything else. So yeah, outside of that, with the marshals, I can go into. Do you want me to go into what their responsibilities are going to be?
Yes, if you could, I think that would be helpful so the membership would understand.
Yeah. So we've got one individual that we hired as, call it the lead marshal, and then the other 5 are all call it marshals. But they will be working on Mondays when we have an outside tournament and or if the course is actually closed on Mondays. So it'll be two staff members on Mondays, a morning shift and an afternoon into the evening shift to just remind people if they're out there, they're not supposed to be. Whether they're walking, riding bikes, doing things other than that, and or even trying to play golf. We'll stop them and address the rules with them. And then generally after hours. So if you're aware, our tee sheet stops at 6 p.m. However, we are going to change that as well, but members can play golf after the 6 p.m. time frame, especially this time of year. Mm-hmm. So, we're asking the marshals to, again, go in reverse order on the golf course, make as many loops as they can, and address any unwarranted play and or, again, any activities that aren't supposed to be happening on the golf course. They can use the app so they can see who's actually supposed to be on the golf course and address those who are not supposed to be on the golf course.
So will they also be involved in doing what the pro staff does when they go around during playtime?
Yes and no. I mean, that'll become a training issue for them. I mean, we're really still relying on the professional staff to keep pace of play throughout the day. They're more adept at how to address that with the members. But we're going to try to train these individuals as best we can. Okay. One of the conditions was that they needed to be familiar with the game of golf. So fortunately for us, a couple of them actually marshal at a couple of other courses in the Bay Area. So they are familiar with that, and they'll probably take that up sooner than the others.
Okay. Now, how will the members be able to identify them?
So we're going to, on the daily email blast that goes out from the professional staff in the morning that's telling you pace of play, weather conditions, upcoming events, all that type of thing. We're going to post the marshal's name, who's going to be on duty that day, the hours that they'll be on duty. And we also have a cell phone that we'll post the number of, so that, again, if you're playing golf, if you're at home and you happen to see something going on the golf course, it's not supposed to be happening, you can call that mobile number and alert the team that they then can go to the location that the situation is occurring. And likewise, if you call the shop or the receptionist, they'll have that number as well after hours into the evening when they're patrolling. As you're aware, they can't be everywhere all the time, and something may be happening on the first hole and they're out on the 7th hole. So, we're just trying to be able to communicate with them as best we can.
Will they have identifying uniforms, badges, and maybe a unique looking cart?
Yeah, so for the time being, they'll be in a club car with a sign on it that identifies them as the marshal. And then we have ordered shirts for them. They will not be red. The outside service staff wear the red shirts. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it'll be a royal blue solid shirt. And again, the identifying marshal cart as well.
So maybe I'll be a marshal. I've
I
got
know, I've just noticed that as I'm talking about it.
a. Okay, that's real good. So maybe you can give just a very brief synopsis of each of the marshals, starting off with Keith Hurtley, I guess.
Yeah, Keith is the youngest of the group. So Keith's a college student. And he came to us just looking for some hours and schedule that would fit his, call it student studies and what he has to do and the time available for it. Alex McCombs. Alex was the first marshal we hired and has probably worked the most shifts so far. And Alex worked at Buchanan Fields as a marshal as well, and he's a retired Wells Fargo banker. And let's see, Patrick Pearson. Patrick is the lead marshal, and Patrick is also a local individual. Went to De La Salle High School, had a career in, call it how would I say it, private family management. So worked for a number of, how would you call it, CEOs, both male and female families, and manage their portfolios as well as their family business.
Oh, interesting.
So Patrick's a big guy. You're not going to miss him. He's about 6'7", pretty intimidating. So that was another reason we hired him.
Okay.
Moving on, we've got Andrew Martin. Andrew's a local realtor. And again, just responded to our ad for the position. And he actually volunteered another individual friend of his. Let's see, the last two I've got is Chris Curiozzi. Chris is familiar with golf as well. So Chris has worked a couple of shifts now. Again, retired individual. And last but not least, we have Charles Bowden, who again, very interesting background, had a number of careers, most recently owned his own moving company.
Oh.
And really is waiting for his wife to retire, I think is what he told me. So he still needs to keep himself busy because otherwise she'll keep him busy. So so far so good.
With all those home chores, I can understand that one.
Right.
Another question, thank you very much for that update. That's very helpful for the membership. Another question that I keep getting, and as do I'm sure some of the other members, is why have we installed cameras on the course? I noticed there are cameras on, two of them on hole 7 and one on number 12. You care to comment on that?
Yeah, so initially, the first camera that we put up was on the 12th tee. And we did that because we were having problems with members and or players cutting the corner and causing physical damage to the property that is behind all of the oak trees you can't necessarily see when you're teeing off. So we've kept that camera active so that when the homeowner lets us know if whether the house is solar panels, the pool, the windows, what have you, have been broken, I can go back to the camera and identify the time and the golfer that may have hit that errant golf ball. And so far that has proved effective. And then also we were having problems on the 7th hole with sort of just call it underage drinking. No physical damage to the golf course, but just sort of a out of sight, out of sound area. So we put a camera on the 7th tee as well as near the 7th green so that we can monitor what goes on there. So if these cameras prove effective, we'll put more out throughout the golf course. Just this past week on Thursday night, Thursday to Friday, I had a report from a homeowner who lives on the 3rd fairway that said he was awoken at 2 a.m. with golf carts spinning donuts on the fairway of number 3.
Oh,
Unfortunately, he didn't call until, the next day. And then when I shared the information with the sheriff, we really don't have any video or anything to go on, but, certainly you can see that there were carts out in that fairway, spinning donuts on the wet turf from the irrigated grass. So fortunately, no damage was done, but, these things come up, occasionally throughout the summer months primarily.
okay. And just to reinforce on hole number 12, we want to make sure that the golfers don't try to cut that corner because that creates the problem.
Correct.
And that last thing, I think you brought up about the damage, but did we ever find out who caused the damage on green number 6?
We did not. I think it was somewhat interesting that, we know what happened, but it seems like those that were involved or those that may have known about it went radio silence. No social media posts or anything like that. Generally, that's where we get fortunate, but it was, dead silence after we had put that information out to the community. But thankfully, our crew did a great job in making the repairs to that green and the surrounds, and we didn't suffer, call it, major financial hit to make the repairs.
Yeah, we're very fortunate, and we're fortunate also that they didn't damage number 3 with that story you just told us. Well, I wanted to thank you for the time, and we'll catch up with you in the future as more topics come up.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jim.
Okay.